Now, during times like this, Juneteenth or Black History Month, you're probably going to hear a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he's one of the most popular civil rights leaders, and rightfully so. But there are many others who had the same goals as MLK, and some of them are doing the work right here in our area. Andre Norrells joins us in studio with more on a Toledo pastor whose efforts move the needle forward locally. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Tatiana, late Toledoan I.J. Johnson is known for being a reverend in the area. But while growing up in Alabama, he knew MLK. We caught up with his son to learn more about what I.J. meant to Toledo.
He was a good man, and he tried to help all he could.
Curly Johnson is I.J.'s son. He now leads the church his father used to pastor. But before his father came to Toledo, he was born and raised in Troy, Alabama.
He used to tell us a lot when I was young about his days in Alabama, and he was proud of the civil rights movement.
Fast forward to 1967.
Martin Luther King Jr. Came to Toledo, and he spoke at Scott High School.
An event that's plastered on the church's walls.
These men of God who tried to help somebody.
With his dad, I.J., pictured with Dr. King.
He talked about how the civil rights movement was a movement for equality and dignity and respect.
Something former Toledo Mayor Cardi Finkbeiner can attest to.
I.J. Johnson was as close to me as any minister in this community has ever been. I was in his home many times.
Finkbeiner says I.J. was the type of person who would help people who needed it. His son saying his dad's big goal was to help people in the community get jobs.
I can't stress that enough. There were many people who worked for many years at different jobs that they never would have gotten had it not been for Pastor going knocking on doors.
He was ready to put all of his influence and his heart and soul behind that individual or that cause where there was a need.
This reaching adults and kids in Toledo. Ohio State Representative Eldrin Rogers says Johnson was a big part of his life. He went to men's meetings I.J. would lead.
Reverend Johnson would give us a word about God, and one of the things that I remember, he said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, the golden rule. And that just stuck with me, and he just captured my attention.
He still comes to this church to this day. But even for a guy who did so much for others, Johnson had his own struggles. His original church on Detroit Avenue burned to the ground in 2014.
He was crushed. You know, I mean, we're not, it's not about the building, it was about his memories.
Something I.J. told WTOL 11 back in 2014.
The church wasn't burned, the building was burned. The church still standing, the church is here today.
But the church rebuilt here on Holland-Sylvania. He hopes during this time of celebrating Juneteenth, people remember how hard others fought for civil rights and the right to vote.
We're squandering some of the gains that men like Martin Luther King died for. People like my dad lived for. Other women have given their life for us to have an opportunity to say yes or no.
And to do as his dad did, help people.
If you leave this life and you don't help anybody, that's a life wasted.
Now, I.J. died back in 2018. That's when Curly took over as head pastor. Church service is every Sunday at 10:45 a.m. at St. Mark's on Holland-Sylvania. Reporting in studio, Andre Norrells, WTOL 11.